down.
Oh shit, man. God damn it. Ah. Bueno.
Anthony Agba, please contact the front desk. If anyone sees a patient wearing blue pants, a red striped shirt, red and white hats, and glasses, would you please contact the front desks?
Vamos a intentarlo. Oh, ahora la nave a tomar poco.
Thank you. Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System. Your insurance claim has been sent. Thank you.
5 minutos.
Tremendously invasive species. Basically, once they kind of get into an area, they kind of propagate rather quickly and can become a very dangerous presence.
Finding a juvenile is fairly similar to the adults on a much smaller scale.
Because they come up from the ground submerged, they can surprise the player in the way that they come up behind them or can attack them from areas where they don't expect.
The Malakar will also fight the other Ninetales at the location if you've managed to find a way to let them be in each other's presence.
So it's going to be you against other players, against other Ninetales, against other worms?
Yeah, real Mexican standoff. So when the lasers finish firing, it will have mined into the surface of this planet, which will reveal a cave network.
Goodbye. Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System. Thank you. Please visit us again. Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
Out of that cave as fast as possible and as safely as possible. We are in Stanton, so if you're going to fight some other players, beware of crime stats.
Please visit us again. Goodbye.
Interesting random from a collector, or
Please visit us again. Goodbye.
Help the human race. It's help the human race.
yeah. Help the human race and make some bank.
While this is happening, Dance System
Let me show you how to have the best start at Star Citizen in 2025. This new player's beginner's guide will teach you how to make money fast starting with a fresh account. If you're actually considering buying a Star Citizen ship package so you can play the game, I highly recommend that you just buy the least expensive ship package possible. Realistically, it doesn't matter what ship package you start with because this guide is going to be highly focused on showing you how to progress using the power of rental ships. I'm going to teach you how to play Star Citizen as well as give you many tips and tricks on how to stay safe from murder hobos or gankers in an open sandbox environment. There is a lot of things you can do and accomplish in Star Citizen, but nothing feels better than buying your very first ship in-game. Cadet, I'm going to do my very best to give you the tools to accomplish that goal. And speaking of goals, we're going to accomplish everything you see in this video before I fill my hydration 4 times. Cadet, if this is the first time you're logging into Star Citizen, when you pick your home location, make sure you do the new player experience. It'll give you an extra 25k and a body armor. Hints will be turned on automatically. They're located in the bottom right. To get out of the bed, you just hold Y. Press F4 to get into third person. Press F4 again, it'll give you a wider angle. Holding down Z while moving your mouse lets you rotate your camera angle. If you want your character to walk, wheel down on your mouse, and if you want him to move faster, wheel up. These storage access ports are located all over the place on cities and stations. This is how you're going to access your local inventory. To enter interact mode, all you have to do is press F to open that door. Now we just need to find the elevator. Pressing F will call the elevator to you. When it arrives, hold down F to give you your mouse cursor so you can select the ground floor. Congratulations, you just made it out of the habs of Area 18, so let's check some missions. Press F1 to open up your Moby Glass, then click on Contracts. There are many starter missions to choose from, but I'm going to choose one of the safest ones to start out with, and that's hauling. Once you select your mission, make sure you track it. Head inside to Cubby Blast, hit up the terminal. In the search area, type in Pyro. You're going to want to buy the Pyro multi-tool as well as the tractor beam attachment. Head outside to the storage access port, drag that Pyro multi-tool, put it on your hip, and then drag that tractor beam attachment and put it on top of your Pyro multi-tool. Time to make our way to the Riker Memorial Spaceport. And if you're smart and actually did the new player experience, unlike me, it'll get you all the way to the spaceport. When you arrive to the airport, interact with the fleet manager here and have your ship delivered. Now once you retrieve your ship, that's actually going to create your personal hangar. The size of your personal hangar will be determined by the largest ship that you own, and since I have a small cutter here, we have a small hangar. Press Alt and R at the same time to enter flight ready status, turning on your ship. Hold down F so you can interact with power management. If you have any extra power, put it all into shields as well as engines. Before we go out into the verse, let's go over a few ship controls. Now pressing in is going to retract your landing gear as well as pull them out. Holding A will move you to the left, and if you hold D, it will move you to the right. Holding spacebar will move you up, and if you hold control, it'll move you down. Holding down Q will roll you to the left, and if you hold down E, it'll roll you to the right. Press F2 to open up your navigational Moby Glass. Now we're down at Riker Memorial Airport at Area 18, and we need to get up to Bikini Point, so we're going to have to plot a course over there. I believe the default command for requesting a takeoff or landing is left Alt plus N. That's a bunch of drama, so I changed mine to apostrophe. And oh yeah, if you hold down W, it'll move you forward, and if you hold down S, well, it'll move you backwards. Flying in SCM or combat mode is super slow, so do yourself a favor, hold down B, get into nav mode, then make a 90-degree up angle until your quantum drive comes online. Looking directly at your target in nav mode will start the calibration process, and when you're totally ready to go, all you have to do is left click with your mouse to engage your quantum drive. Cadet, flying your ship for the very first time can be very exciting as well as terrifying, so just take your time. Wearing a pair of brown pants also helps. Now when you land inside your hangar for the very first time, you actually want to back up to the freight elevator here. You can gain access to your mission cargo via the freight manager, which is located right next to the gigantic elevator. Send the elevator down, that's going to give you access to the local inventory. Now you can just simply move that mission cargo over and then send the elevator right back up. Time to get to work. Hold down 2 to select your combat wheel, then select the Pyro multi-tool. Press your left mouse click to activate the tractor beam. If you mouse wheel towards yourself, the tractor beam will bring the box closer to you, and if you wheel it away, well, it's going to make the box go away. Now, funny thing is, this cutter's only rated to hold 4 SCUs, so we're just going to have to stuff everything in here like cordwood, not worrying about snapping it to the grid. As long as I can stack it all up and still get out of the ship, we'll be fine. Hey, you know what ship could hold far more cargo than my cutter? This Asgard Valkyrie here, which also kicks a whole bunch of space butts. This game package I'll be giving away comes with lifetime insurance and also comes with an Uber Tumbrel Nova tank. Digital game download is also included. Now this game package is worth over 500 USD, so if you ever wanted to feel like what it was like to be a little mini whale in Star Citizen, well, here's your chance. To enter this giveaway, all you have to do is be a subscriber to the Hawks Gaming YouTube channel, like this video, and comment anything you want down below in the comments. 7 days after this video goes live, I will use a random YouTube comment picker to pick the winner. Now, I'm only going to give credit for one comment, so keep that in mind. The lucky winner will have their comment pinned in this video, so good luck, everybody. Thank you, CIG, for giving me the opportunity to make one lucky person's dreams come true. Just like when you're on foot, if you ever want to get into third-person mode, don't forget to press F4. I like to do that a lot when I'm taking off and landing. Ironically, completing your very first hauling contract in the R-Corp area is going to send you from Bikini Point right back down to Area 18 at Riker Memorial. Just poke your head right out of the hangar, look straight down, you'll be able to spool directly to Area 18. It is worth mentioning that you don't have to complete this hauling contract all in one go. If you need to make multiple trips because your ship is even smaller than mine, then you can do that. If you end up enjoying hauling contracted cargo, well, the cool thing about this run is it drops you right above the airport. Just like when we landed at Bikini Point, we're going to fly into our personal hangar, and then we're going to back up and land right in front of the gigantic freight elevator. If you notice my engines are off right now, make sure before you get out of your pilot seat that you press side and turn off your engines. Let's get into that habit. As soon as we complete this hauling contract, we're going to immediately reinvest those funds into renting a much better ship. Had I completed the new player experience, well, we could have rented that ship already, making this cargo run even easier. Once you have all your contracted cargo on grid, press the lower button, and if it's all there, then just click confirm. Finishing off that contract is going to earn us a little over 50K, so let's head back to Bikini Point and start doing some real cargo running. When you land and get out of your personal hangar, look for the elevators in the back and then head over to the cargo center. Inside the cargo center, off to the left side, there will be a rental booth. Click on that kiosk and rent the Hall A for $34,000. Head back to the hangar and Habs, make a right at the elevators. You're looking for the medical clinic. Look for the two insurance terminals in the lobby. You want to click on one and transfer your imprint to this location. If you end up dying, you're going to spawn here instead of back in the city. Renting the Hall A for $34K is going to give us the ability to earn $300K in 30 minutes, which is pretty awesome for the new player. All the cargo you're going to carry on the Hall A is going to be mounted externally on these really cool cargo grids, but in order to open up those spindles there, you're going to have to hold left Alt and K. The Hall A can hold 64 SCU of cargo, 16 on each of those 4 grids, which is actually quite insane considering how small the ship is. Time to start making that check. Once again, we'll be hitting up contracts, going to the hauling tab. We're not going to be doing one piddly order this time. We're going to be doing 6. The missions you're looking for always pay 50K, and they're called the Rookie Rank Direct Planetary Extra Small Cargo Haul. All 6 of these orders can be picked up here at Bikini Point in your personal hangar, and all of them want to be dropped off down at Riker Memorial Airport at Area 18. If you do 6 missions at once, yes, there's going to be a lot of single SCU boxes to move, but the Hall A is totally tailor-made to do this type of work. So Hawks, out of all the new player missions in Star Citizen, and there are quite a few available, why do you always start out with hauling? Personally, I have played Star Citizen enough that, I can pretty much do anything I want right from the beginning of the game. But that certainly doesn't mean a brand new, fresh off the boat player is going to feel comfortable doing a lot of these missions when they don't even really know how to play the game yet. Let me explain the Karate Kid method of training and learning how to play Star Citizen. Realistically, there's only a handful of things that you have to understand and be good at to kind of be good at Star Citizen. You want to get very good at wax on, wax off, as well as picking up the jacket and hanging up the jacket. You want to do that over and over until you get very good at those things. What the hell does that even mean, Hawks? You want to get good at landing and taking off without blowing yourself up. You need to get good at reliably plotting a course between point A and point B. And ironically, those 2 things, not blowing yourself up and being able to plot courses, that's like 50% of a new player's gameplay. If I was a new player following this guide right now, at this point I would have practiced wax on, wax off, pick up the jacket, and hang up the jacket multiple times, while earning a little over $300K for 30 minutes of work. Now that's pretty daggone good. Let's plot a course back to Bikini Point. We are going to practice wax on, wax off, pick up the jacket, and put on the jacket one more time before we head out and tackle our next task. There are a couple more reasons why these contracted cargo missions are so daggone good for a new player. First and foremost, you are doing all this practice from personal hangar to personal hangar, which is very safe for the new player. These contracted cargo missions are literally no risk to you, as you're not investing a single AUEC in picking up any of these boxes. It's also worth mentioning that I have not experienced any bugs while picking up or delivering any of these orders whatsoever in the last few patches, so they are extremely reliable. If you run into a situation where you cannot make delivery on these items, never ever abandon the contract. This will totally destroy your reputation. I find it's best to just log out of that server, log into a fresh new server. All those missions will be available again and you can just start all over. Cadet, at this point you should be half decent at landing and taking off, as well as plotting courses from point A to point B. We're up another 300k and I very well could keep pounding out these cargo missions over and over and over until I throw up in my mouth, but instead let's do something a little bit different. I'm gonna be heading over to Everest Harbor. Won't be running cargo, so might as well just pack up the spindles and get the heck on out of here. Gonna tell you right now, there is more to Star Citizen than grinding for money, and that's coming from somebody who probably grinds harder than anybody else. What's more important is finding your fun when you first start playing Star Citizen. Now this next method might not make us more money, but it is most definitely more fun. It's a little bit more dangerous and requires to build off previous skills of not blowing yourself up and knowing how to get there. So let's make ourselves a regeneration point right here. We're going to transfer our imprint to Everest Harbor. Let's head down to the cesspool of a city called Lorville. We have a few things to pick up. Cadet, earlier in the video when I was going over the flight mechanics, I kind of glossed over two super duper important terms, and that's nav mode and SCM mode. Currently I'm in nav mode, and this is mostly used to get from point A to point B or to move really quickly. Now the drawback to nav mode is you do not have shields engaged, so yeah, keep that in mind. There are multiple reasons why you want to be in SCM mode. The first one being you're landing and you don't want to blow yourself up. The second reason is you're about to be or in actual combat. You know, shields are a really super good thing then. I'll cover the last one when we're mining later in the video. Just keep in mind, in SCM mode you do not have access to your quantum drive. In the Lorville airport, there's a store named New Deal where you can actually purchase ships or ground-based vehicles, and we're going to end up purchasing a ground-based vehicle right now instead of renting one. The Grey Cat Rock is only going to set us back a little under 104,000 AUEC, and ironically it only took, two of those cargo missions to get that much money? So yeah, we're definitely going to buy this right now instead of renting it later. Next, you'll want to hit up the Metro Center Spaceport line, get onto this tram here, and it's actually going to take you to the Workers District in Lorville. We're going to have to hit up a little store called Trammy & Sons. When you get off the tram, you can use your little mini-map in the upper left-hand corner to find Trammy & Sons, or just follow the signs. When you get inside, you hit up the terminal, and in the search bar, you want to start typing in Pembroke. We're going to want to buy each one of these. We're going to buy the suit, we're going to buy the backpack, and we're going to buy the helmet. Just outside of Trammy & Sons, there will be storage access ports where you can put on your new set of Pembroke armor that you just purchased. However, sometimes Hawks gets a little too excited, and his big brain actually ends up being a super duper gigantic smooth brain. I forgot to buy a couple more things, so we're going to have to head back into Trammy & Sons. The orbit mining attachment is totally optional. You don't need this, I just like to buy it anyway, but you most definitely need to buy some Cruise Lux. Cruise Lux will fill up your thirst as well as your hunger bar. Just make sure you get at least 2 bottles of those and you keep them stacked in your inventory. Now, it's a little bit early to drink, but let me show you the process. Press I to open your inventory, take off your helmet, then right click on the Lux and click Inspect. Look at the bottle, hold down left click on your mouse until you've completely drank the entire bottle of Lux. Press I again to open up your inventory. Now don't be a litter bug, throw that empty bottle into your inventory again because it's going to be useful. I'll show you here in just a second. Once you finish drinking, stack those bottles in your inventory. The next time we inspect them again to drink, they're going to be full. Head back to the airport. You're looking for the Vantage rental kiosk here. We will be renting the Cutlass Black. You can also rent one at any refinery deck at L1 stations, any cargo center located at a main station around a planet, and any of the jump point space stations, so they're pretty much everywhere if you need to rent one. The Cutlass Black is a medium-sized ship, so we cannot go to our personal hangar and try to pull it out there. We will need to pull it out here at the Fleet Manager Terminal. If you're inside your personal hangar and you try to pull out a ship that's too big, it won't even appear in the list. Our next stop is at Hurl 1 Green Glade Station. Now, if you want to actually rent a rock, you can rent one from here if you didn't buy one already. Cadet, on my main account, the very first ship that I ever purchased to play Star Citizen all those years ago was the Cutlass Black. She's completely glorious. The Cutlass Black is basically a jack of all trades, but not really a master of anything. It can do commodity trading, bunker missions, rock mining, as well as ship-to-ship combat. As a new player, the Cutlass Black is an amazing rental because it will help you find your fun in whatever you want to do in a small scale. And then when you find out that you like that thing, then you just rent a bigger and better ship. After I go buy my laser for the rock, I plan to load it into the Cutlass Black, so we might as well store the ship now. Which you won't really be able to do unless you claim that rock from here if you purchased it in Lorville. Locate the elevators in the very far back of the station. We're going to be heading to the refinery deck. Head inside the mining support center, hit up the kiosk on the right hand side there, type in Helix, you're looking for the S0 Helix head, that's for the rock. Here's a crash course on how to modify parts on a vehicle. Click on the vehicles tab, select the ship that you're after, in our case it's the Grey Cat Rock. We're going to hit the utilities tabs up, and then we're going to click on the SO mining laser. Just make sure that you save and equip the changes or they will not save. Adding parts to a rental ship is a bit more drama. I'll show you how to do that when we end up using the rental mold. Get inside, you just stand in front of the rock, press the F key, and it'll start a process where you just kind of get in and everything kind of closes around you. Now to turn it on, you can either F key over the power button or press left Alt R for flight ready. I need to get the rock out of the way so we can call it the Cutlass Black, so let's just stuff it in the elevator. And at this point, we bought a rock, we bought all the gear we needed to go rock mining, went over and got a laser head, put it on the rock. Now we got to stuff the rock inside the Cutlass Black, which ironically is where I talk about how much of a tight fit it is and how everybody likes tight fits. But yeah, we haven't even finished preparing yet. Had we kept pounding out those cargo missions, sure, the puke in our mouthometer would have kept going up, but we also wouldn't be stuck in the perpetual loop of Prepare Citizen. Our final destination playing Prepare Citizen is Everest Harbor, where I plan to hit up the Cargo Service Center and grab a big giant box to stuff a whole bunch of gems into. Sure would suck if some space murder hobos came by and killed me, stealing all my gems. Don't worry, I'll keep you safe. What the hell is going on? Yeah, so I guess landing inside your own personal hangar can sometimes get your ship impounded. Ain't that awesome? So we head over to the cargo services, went to the container section. I'm going to stroll down and buy a 2 SCU storage box. That should be plenty of room for all the gems we're going to be mining. Chris Roberts giveth, and then Chris Roberts taketh away. I have no idea what I did wrong other than attempt to land inside my personal hangar. Guess I'll bend over and take it in the space keister, paying that 5,000 AUE fine. You know, because I deserved it, I guess. Now, I really could have just glossed over all these little steps in playing Prepare Citizen, because there are many little steps you have to complete before you can actually go out and do the thing. The good news is, once we get this container on board our ship, we will finally be ready to go out and start making that space cheddar again. Sadly, past me didn't know just how much Aberdeen sucks now for rock mining once they added the worms to the patch, but I'll show you the clown shoes. For years now, my 2 favorite places to rock mine in the Stanton system has always been Aberdeen, well, not anymore because it sucks now, as well as Daymar. I hadn't even tested Daymar yet, but yeah, I spent about 25 to 30 minutes just looking for gems, and I only ended up finding 2 patches, which is totally horrible. Here's the first patch of Baradom I found, and Baradom isn't the most glorious. It's only the middle of the road element, but since I had been looking for so long, yeah, definitely going to stop by and mine it. Cadet, I am going to gloss over pretty much all the Aberdeen footage, so you are kind of knowing what you're going to be getting into before I actually start explaining and teaching you how to do it. Here is the second patch of gems I ended up finding before we bail out to Ariel, and it is another patch of Baradom, unfortunately. I spent about 12.5 minutes to find this patch from taking off from the last one. That is absolutely horrible. If you are spending that much time to find gem patches, this is not going to be a very profitable venture for you. From my experience, the gem spawns got really screwed up when they added the worms to Aberdeen. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't recommend that you go here unless you're into wasting a whole bunch of time. Ariel, on the other hand, is totally win. Rule number 1 of staying safe while rock mining is to pick a random OM marker and fly there, then go down to the surface from that location. Do not QT down to any of the surface locations or lure hobos might find you while you're rock mining. You don't want any of that. When you get down to the surface, stay into nav mode so you can fly around quickly and press tab in order to ping. The act of pinging will reveal a bunch of unknown targets and their distances to you. What you're looking for is any target that appears on your radar after your first ping that is under 5 kilometers away. Now that patch of rocks right there is not what we're looking for, but after my first ping it was under 5 kilometers away, so I had to check it out. Now this one right here, most definitely going to be gems. On aerial, there are no life forms, so you're not going to be spammed by those readings like we were on Aberdeen, so it's going to be making finding gems a whole lot easier. And that right there is Famaline. That's what we're after. When you land nearby, have the back of your cutlass black facing the patch of gems makes things a whole heck of a lot easier. Before you get out of the pilot's chair, make sure that you press I to turn off your engines, and you also want to get into SCM mode so you have shields online while you're out there mining, just in case. I always try to kind of go through the same safety measures, even if we are literally in the boondocks right now. I went to an OM marker and I just flew down to a random location, so the chances of finding anybody or them finding us is going to be so daggone small, it's like trying to find a needle in a big giant pile of haystacks. Approach your gem cluster and then press M in order to pull out your mining laser. By default, it'll already be in fracture mode, so all you have to do is left click with your mouse to turn the laser on and then wheel up to increase the laser intensity. Your ultimate goal is to get it up and keep it into the green zone until that bar fills up all the way on the right hand side. Once it does, the rock's gonna crack. If you put too much power into the rock, it's best to wheel down as quickly as possible or left mouse click to turn your laser off. That's the charge level on the right hand side of the HUD. Now let's talk about the laser range. That's on the left hand side. The first rock I cracked, well, I was actually too close, and this rock right here, I'm actually too far away, and you can tell that by the optimal line. If you're too close, you have to kind of be careful because you can put too much power into the rock, and if you're too far away, well, you're going to have to crank up the power to get the same effect. The Helix head has far more power than the stock mining laser, so that is why I get to be freaking space lazy and just sit here and crack things from far away. Holding down Alt while left clicking with your mouse will put you into extraction mode, allowing you to suck up all the gems. You might not realize this right now, Cadet, but you are practicing sand the floor over and over until you get really good at it. When you have a bunch of gems on the ground, press tab to ping. That way it'll highlight all your targets, making it much easier to find or do what I do. I love doing it in third person mode. This will happen occasionally. Everything is going to go fine, then the power is going to spike on you. Don't worry too much. As soon as you turn that Helix head off, the green zone is going to be huge. Let it cool for just a second, then get back to work because you need to practice sand the floor over and over and over before we tackle our next mission. Basically, all mining is the same from hand mining to doing it in a vehicle, so just get really good at sand the floor, meaning cracking rocks without blowing yourself up. We have 3 more rocks to crack, and there is a bunch of Famaline laying all over the ground. The rock's completely full of gems. Let's hop out and mess around with this orbit mining attachment. Just like in the rock, if you mouse left click, it'll turn on the mining beam, but if you right click on your mouse, it's going to turn on the tractor beam, which will suck everything up off the ground nice and easy for you. Technically, it probably would have been much faster just to drop all my gems off into my box here and just go back out there and suck everything up off the ground in the rock, but it is what it is, and definitely not going to forget that one. Transferring your gems can be a bit of a chore. Just walk up to the box, click F on it, and it's going to open up the inventory of the box and your backpack. Realistically, before I open up the back of the rock here, which is the exact same process, I really should move that gem box a little bit closer. Yeah, let's do that right now, because running back and forth, ain't nobody got time for that. When you access the rock's inventory, you're going to need to split these all into manageable stacks, and that's about 175 for your backpack. So you have to go to the rock, put the gems into your backpack, go from the backpack and put the gems into the box, over and over. Got all the gems transferred over, rock is totally ready to go, and looky there, I literally just took off about 30 seconds ago, and we already found another gem patch. No matter what type of gem it is, this signal return of over 14,000 means there are going to be a whole bunch of rocks there. Let's just hope it's Famaline. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. We're rich. I swooped in and practiced sand the floor a bunch, and then we scooped up a whole crap load, and I mean a crap load of Famaline. Working in the brutal heat of Aberdeen and Ariel is going to make you super duper thirsty, so let's hydrate up real quick. Technically, those bottles are empty, but if you stack 2 empty bottles on top of each other, as long as they're the same item, it's gonna be full every single time. This bug's been reported for years at this point, so I don't even feel bad about using it, since the side effect of actually using it means I don't throw a bunch of bottles all over the freaking ground. Now, I'm just one person, but if we can get thousands of people to stop throwing bottles on the ground, it's gonna be a huge plus for the game itself, even if you're, a cheater. I'm going to drastically speed up the footage here from takeoff to finding our very next patch, and it's literally not going to take us all that long at all. I'm not kidding, you're going to be finding patches like crazy here on Aerial. Let's hope it's Fameline. Brace yourself, Effie, I'm coming in. Not so long story short, I cut out all the foreplay, mined everything up, scooped everything up, and then filled up this box all the way with gems. And we still have a bunch of gems inside the rock itself. Let's sell your gems. Now you can sell them at HDMS, Bezdek, or Lathan on Aerial, but a much safer option would be to actually go to Hurston and sell them there. All of the Hurston Dynamics mining stations will pay top dollar for your gems. It's just you always want to make sure you pick your safest option. When you're loaded down with gems, you ultimately want to find a good sell location on Hurston somewhere that has nobody there, and Stanhope right now is clear. We're in an armistice zone right now, so our weapon wheel isn't going to work. You'll have to put your pyro multi-tool in your pocket and then inspect it in order to get it in your hand. Now you can use it. Just like when we did all those contracted cargo missions, we need to move our box into the freight elevator and then send it down into the local inventory. Once your box is in local, move it back over to the left-hand side, double-click to open it. Now you're going to have to move 1 stack of gems at a time, because if you select them all and move them all, it's only going to move 1 stack. It's kind of ridiculous. Don't forget to send that empty box back up. We have to repeat the exact same process you just saw, since we have more gems to take care of. We have to put them in the freight elevator, send it down, move the box over, double-click to open it, and then move all the gems over 1 stack at a time. Cadet, if there is anybody around, never ever do this process, because whoever sends that box full of gems down into the personal inventory, it is their box, so just be careful. To sell your gems, look for the building with the orange light on the outside, click on the kiosk, and then select your local inventory. Let's get to selling our gems. Now, the Baradom itself is not going to be worth very much. It's only worth half as much as the Fameline. With all of our gems sold, we ended up making a little over 760k, which isn't all that bad considering how long we played Prepare Citizen. Time to tackle our next task, Cadet. I hope you've learned how to sand the floor. Our next stop is Hurl to the Faithful Dream Station. It is now time to take our money-making potential to the next level. Cadet, I'm going to be frank with you. If you haven't mastered the skills of wax on, wax off, pick up the jacket, put on the jacket, as well as sand the floor, this is not going to be any fun. It is extremely important that you master those skills before you get naked in preparation for our next stage. I mean, I guess you could still use the gigantic Michelin Man suit to do what we're doing, but instead it's better to hit up the kiosks in the Mining Support Center so you can buy yourself a full set of armor. Now, if you really like Star Citizen like I do, make sure it's a white set of armor so everyone can call you a White Knight. Buying items from a display stand is actually pretty cool, because if you hold F on the item, then step back, it'll put it into your personal inventory, which is quite handy. Time to spend money to make money. Hit up the kiosk and then start typing in the word Hofstede. We're going to be getting the Hofstede S2 mining laser. This time start typing in Focus. You're going to want to buy the Focus 3 module. The last thing we need is the Riger C3 module. Look for Vantage Rentals nearby. You will be wanting to rent the Argo Mole, and the main reason why I'm highlighting this rental is because so many YouTubers say it's not worth it. Sure, it looks like it's expensive up front, and we bought a bunch of parts and a mining head, but we're going to make all that money back on our first trip. Alright, so this is a rental ship, so technically you're not supposed to add parts to it, but I'm going to show you how to do it anyway. First, you want to get into your captain's chair, and then you want to hit right Alt and K. That's going to unlock all your ship ports. Head back outside, pull out your tractor beam attachment, and then pull that head downwards. It will take it off the mole, and you can just store it anywhere. You can store the arbor head here, although I'm likely going to regret that later. Just make sure to pull out the Hofstede and the 2 modules. We're going to get those stuck on the mole right now. Your parts are likely going to look like they're stuck in the floor, but don't worry about it. You'll be able to pull it out. To rotate an object horizontally, you just need to wheel up and wheel down on the mouse while holding R. Now that we have the Hofstede attached to the mole, it is now time to repeat the exact same steps with each of the modules. Cadet, word of warning, if you screw up wax on, wax off, or sand the floor, you're going to lose that mining head and all of its attachments. When you're seated in the chair, don't forget to press right Alt and K to lock your ship ports again, and then adjust your power in SCM mode to make sure you have all power to your lasers, full power to shields, and as much engine power as you can muster. Now our next stop is Crew 01 at the Ambitious Dream Station. When you get to Crew 01, the very first thing you want to do is take that arbor head out of your mole and store it in your personal hangar. This is most definitely going to save you money later. I choked and forgot to do that. The station is now our main base of operations, so don't forget to transfer your imprint to this location. The Hofstede on the rental mole will most definitely take our money-making potential to the next level, so we might as well go to the most glorious place to mine in the Stanton system, and that's on Selin. Just like with rock mining, we are not going to go to any surface locations marked by those upside down triangles, because that is going to definitely increase our chance of getting ganked. Instead, we will once again pick a random OM marker and then fly down to any imperfections we see on the moon's surface. When you get down to the surface, start pinging away. The main difference between rock mining and mole mining is we're looking for returns that are less than 13 kilometers away, but greater than 5 kilometers in distance after the first ping. That way we will always find the exact type of rocks that we're looking for. Alright, so we found our first patch of rocks here. Now the main difference between mole mining and rock mining is all of these rocks are likely going to be different. It's not like gem mining where they're basically all the same. In order to see the differences, you will want to press M for mining mode while in your captain's chair. This will allow you to scan all the rocks that are there at the location. In the Stanton system, we are going to be looking for Quantanium, Terranite, Bexolite, and gold to a lesser extent. We're not going to be mining anything else. Painting the fence is an extremely useful tool to the mole miner. That means parking your mole in such a way that your laser head on the front there will be in its optimum range. Definitely make sure to switch to SCM mode before you do any mining. You need your shields. To turn on your mining laser, you just need to activate the mouse cursor and then look for the power button in the top center left of the screen. When it comes to mole mining or rock mining, they are basically exactly the same when it comes to charge level as well as the laser range. This is why practicing sand the floor when we were rock mining is extremely important, because if we make even one mistake right now, we'll probably lose the laser head. Not all of these chunks that just broke off the main rock are all going to be created equal, alright? The ones that have a purple outline means you can scoop them, and anything that you scan with the yellow outline means you have to further crack them down. What I like to do is get everything scanned and then start cracking on any of the yellow ones that are left over before I will further scan those down and then decide what I'm actually going to start keeping. I'm going to tell you right now, always just be in that habit, because when you start cracking and scooping Quantanium rocks, well, the second that you scoop a Quantanium rock, you are going to get a countdown timer. When that countdown timer reaches 0, well, that bag's going to blow up, which generally causes a chain reaction blowing up your ship. Once you understand the procedure of crack the things, scan all of the things before you scoop any of the things, you can then start wrapping your mind around the philosophy of getting in and getting out really quick. It's not about being greedy and looking for the perfect rock. It's about getting in there, finding a decent rock, cracking it, then scooping it to get the heck on out of there as quick as possible. Let finding those perfect rocks be your happy accident. Don't go out of your way to look for them, because that is going to waste your time, and time is money. Case in point, when I flew down to this patch here, this was actually the smaller patch according to the readings. The other one that was only a few kilometers away was much bigger. My master plan was to swoop down to this closer patch here and hopefully find at least one rock that was half decent before going over to the bigger patch to likely find another rock. The funny thing is, this patch might have been small, but it had Terranite in it, and Terranite's really good. On the other hand, the second patch that was even bigger, the only good rock here is basically this gold rock. As far as the value of minerals go, Quantanium is generally worth over 26k per SCU, Terranite's worth 9.7k, Bexolite's worth 7.4k, and gold, well, it's only worth 6.7k. Anything else that you come across, I'm going to tell you right now, in the Stanton system is not worth your time to mine. Unfortunately, that last chunk kind of slipped below my radius to be able to scoop it up with the front laser, so I guess I'll have to move the mole later and, scoop it up at the very end. Had I approached that rock with a slightly bigger brain, meaning I had the mole on the other side of it, where if anything rolled down the hill, I'd still be able to reach it with the mining laser, that would have been way, way smarter. And that's the cool thing, you think you do everything right, and then you actually learn something along the way. Now, I should have known much better at this point, because yeah, gravity means that rock's going to move downhill, and now I've got to move the mole and reposition it before I can scoop up this rock here. With all the gold scarfed up, I looked for another patch, which was right next door and happens to be granite. Granite's totally awesome because it has a higher chance to spawn Quantanium. With another patch being so close, it's also going to be granite, but sadly, there's no Quantanium there. This is a Quantanium rock, so we want to make sure that we are painting the fence correctly. We have to park the mole where we're relatively close to the optimum line. The Hofstede laser and that Focus 3 module have a bonus to the window size, so this is going to greatly help you crack those Quantanium rocks. Let me explain why the skill Sand the Floor is so important, especially when you're cracking Quantanium rocks. On your laser range, there is the optimum line, which happens to be green for us, but if we are cracking rocks and we overheat them at any time, that little zigzag line at the top up there is going to get closer and closer to the optimum line. If the rock cracks or detonates past that optimum line or the line where you're located at on that bar, it means that your ship, that laser head, and the modules will most likely take damage. You will likely not blow up your ship on a sub crack. Just be really careful on your main crack because that can detonate your ship. As far as your modules and that mining laser head, you do not want them to really take damage because they can become inoperable. Well, looks like it's time to get the heck on out of here. Let's head to Crew 01 to start the refining process, which ironically will net us more profits than it cost us to buy all the crap and to rent the rental mole, so I don't understand why it gets such a bad rap. As far as rental ships go, in my opinion, the mole is one of the very best because it can slingshot you into mega profits really quick. Just don't look at the rental cost and go, this ship sucks, because you know what? You'd be wrong. Do yourself a favor, when exiting the mole, just jump out of one of the mole arms. It's way faster than going down the elevator. Before you can refine the ore that's located inside the mole bags, you do have to store the mole because you cannot process it while it's on the pad. Make your way to the refinery deck, and instead of heading into the mining support center, we're going to walk up these stairs here. Now on the left hand side you can sell raw ore, but we're interested in processing our ore. Hit up the refinery terminal to begin the refining process. You just select which ship you have, in our case it's the Argo Mole, and then set up the work order. We only want to refine the good stuff, so we're going to toggle the Quantanium, the gold, and the Terranite. There are only two processing methods that I will recommend. The first is Dinks, which takes longer, then there is Ferron Exchange. Ironically, I recorded all this footage just before 4.2 landed, so refining times are twice as fast. In 4.2, it would only take us 10 hours to refine this order. In a nutshell, that is mole mining as well as the refining process. Might as well fill up my hydration for the third time in this video. I'm gonna have to start breaking my neck in order to get everything done before I fill up my hydration 4 times. Like, I had this little thought pop in my head of, go over there and buy a backpack, Hawks. You might go loot something later while the orders are processing. So, I don't even know why I did it right now, but I did it. The funny thing is, you think that we're mole mining, but we're actually playing the break your legs over and over again simulator. The act of dropping down that chute in order to get to the mining laser instead of taking the ladder as well as jumping out one of the laser arms means we're going to break our legs a whole bunch. Instead of using med pens, even though I bought a bunch of them, you can head over to the medical room that's assigned to you and just lay in this bed. It will